everybody? This is your boy Dedrian from House of Rasslin, and this is my review for the June 7th episode of AEW Dynamite. Like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification so that way you are notified when the House of Wrestling drops its latest content. Follow me, Dedrian180, on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. So, tonight's AEW Dynamite. I gotta say, I enjoyed the show. It was fun. It was entertaining. I do feel some things, as far as some stories, could have been a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? More energy into it, but overall, this was a fun show, man. I enjoyed it. You definitely get the feel that they are heading towards the speculated brand split. You can get kind of like that feel where it's like, okay, we see these guys on Dynamite, but okay, now they're building, how do I put it? They're building basically two things. They're building the story for Forbidden Door. They're building that card. And they're also building the first episode of AEW Collision. And tonight, they announced the main event for AEW Collision, which most people aren't surprised. I'm loving it because I am going to be in attendance. That is going to be fun. But yeah, this was a fun show. Online, I did see some things as far as, well, it really didn't push any storylines going forward. And why did this person lose? Which for me, and you guys have been watching my reviews and everything, I could see where people, thought that or perceived that, or it came across that AEW projected that. I can see that. For me, I got a few questions. One I'm gonna talk about on this review, but other than that, like I said, this was a fun show. I love the video packages. I'm gonna get into that. Regarding the Forbidden Door and everything. And also, we got to keep in context that there was several things that happened at New Japan Pro Wrestling's Dominion event that correlates to what happened tonight on AEW Dynamite. I know several people were talking about, the build for Okada and Danielson. There wasn't no build, which actually there was a build, and they mentioned it on commentary. And this was one of those AEW Dynamite episodes where, if you're used to the in-ring action, of course the in-ring action tonight was really fun, but you got to listen and pay attention to commentary because they were given a lot of backstory to Chaos, Swerve Strickland, Jay White, the Bullet Club. First time on commentary, they mentioned CM Punk in a while, and kind of know the reasons around that circumstance and everything. But so yeah, this was one of those episodes where you really had to pay attention to commentary because they filled in the blanks that I don't want to say we didn't see in some matches, but certain aspects that would be answered in matches was answered by commentary. So you really had to pay attention to that. And I know some people, I don't have to pay attention. Why do I have to do this and why do I have to do that? Look, trust me, in today's world, as far as entertainment and everything, and a lot of detailed storytelling going on, you kind of got to pay attention because there's a lot of Easter eggs and everything. But again, overall, this was a fun show. Few things I'm going to talk about. Again, there wasn't a lot in this show that, jumped out like, oh man, this is cool, and man, I got to talk about this. Looking at it now, after I watched it and just looking at my notes and everything, this show was the type of show where they wanted to focus on a few things. They didn't want to load up the show and have boom, 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 boom. They just want, okay, this is the main thing we want to get to. We want to talk about this, and we want to talk about this, and everything else is just we're still on the path. We haven't gone to a destination yet. We haven't gone to a bridge or a swerve or anything. Let's just continue. But these are the three things we want to get across on this show. And now looking at it, it makes sense why they did this show. We also got to keep in mind that we're less than, was it a week from AEW Collision? And then right after that, you got Forbidden Door on June 25th. So there's a lot of things that they're putting together to build those two shows. And I do got to admit that I actually like the build to Forbidden Door this year as opposed to last year. Last year just felt right after Double or Nothing. It was just like, all right, let's just, like, it was just like they were, it's almost equivalent to like you're hungry, but you like consume everything so fast that you kind of give yourself like a food coma, or, you know, you're just like, oh, I don't want to do anything. And, you know, you slow yourself down. And it just felt like last year's Forbidden Door, which was a great pay-per-view. I attended it. It was awesome. But it did feel like it was just rushed, and it really didn't have enough. It felt like it didn't have enough time, which in retrospect, it did have enough time. It just wasn't really built properly. I don't want to say properly, but just it wasn't built on the focus of, okay, these are the four things that we want to build to, and then everything else is supplementary and everything, if that makes sense for you guys that are watching. But yeah, this year I'm loving the build for New Japan, AEW Forbidden Door. I like the cross promotion and the cross interaction of, you know, Moxley and Claudio in New Japan, and Danielson in New Japan, and, you know, of course, Okada and Ospreay and AEW, and, you know, just, I love that bridge and everything, which I see that they're doing a better job of this year. It can be better, but I do like how it's being built. But enough of that. I'm going to get into the things that stood out to me for AEW Dynamite tonight. And I'm going to start it off with the Adam Cole confronting MJF. This was, man, unexpected. I didn't anticipate Adam Cole confronting MJF now. I don't know. Maybe it was, you know, because MJF was talking and everything, and it was like, okay, he kind of gave the hint, like, okay, I've beaten everybody, I've beaten the best, and maybe it was at that moment, I'm like, okay, who else is there for him to beat? He hasn't, I'm trying to think, okay, who hasn't he faced or anything? Let's see, Jay White. I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon. Of course, with Ricky Starks, I'm like, okay, that doesn't make sense. And when Adam Cole's music hit, I was like, oh, man, this is going to be good. You know, maybe it's been a while since people have listened to Adam Cole speak. The guy got mic skills, and tonight he really displayed his mic skills. I do got to say that MJF's promos, he kind of, there's times where he, man, how do I explain it? It's like he wants to get all his stuff in, but then it's like so long in some instances where the other guy has to like hurry up and get his stuff in before, you know, of course the show has to go on and everything, you know, of course with the time that's allotted to him. So sometimes it does come across like that. MJF gives, you know, really good promos, but it does seem like the timing and the pacing of his promos can kind of be like, all right, get to the point, get here. We know you're going to get to the point. Can you get to the point? Can you get to the point? And this was a great matchup. I'm looking forward to this. They are going to be having a match next week. It's an eliminator match. So basically what that means, if I remember, comment below if you guys know what the concept of the eliminator match is in AEW. But basically what it is if Adam Cole wins, he gets a title shot against MJF, which, I'm fine with that. I'm starting to think, is Adam Cole going to dethrone MJF? Because if you really think about it, and I don't know, maybe he might do it, but I'm just thinking like, okay, if Adam Cole does defeat MJF, Adam Cole just came back, from, real serious, head injury and everything. Is he really, I don't want to say really, but is he, healthy enough for a long run with the world title and everything? Is he, up to speed to where he was before the injuries he occurred last year? There's some of the questions that just came to mind, but then it's just like, you know what? Just let it ride out, man. Maybe it does feel like that AEW. Now, granted, MJF has been the champion since Full Gear. He is a very annoying, obnoxious, just condescending. As a heel, you just want to punch him in the mouth. But yet, at the same time, you got to look at, one, since he's been champ, the ratings have been consistent for AEW. But does it feel like, and is it time for AEW to make that switch? Are we getting closer? Because let's face it, we're in June and we're already 6 months into the year. And of course, 2024, MJF has been talking about it, the bidding war of 2024 and blah, blah, blah. So it's like, man, are we getting to the time where it's like, okay, are they going to make the switch? Is this going to be something that we're going to get back and forth? Are we getting closer to when MJF, loses a title? And one interesting thing in this promo that MJF gave, he said, there's no competition in this company and nobody has beaten me. Now, we know Adam Cole hasn't beaten him, but also we got to keep in mind that a former world champion, MJF, has not defeated Kenny Omega. So that's something to think about going into the rest of the year. Like, man, is Adam Cole going to be the one to defeat MJF for the world title? Or are we kind of, leading towards Kenny Omega versus MJF for the world title, and Kenny Omega dethrones MJF, which I don't believe they ever fought. So that would be an interesting match, Kenny Omega versus MJF. But man, this promo with Adam Cole, like, this was freaking amazing. He did use aspects of Adam Cole's promo against Karrion Kross. When they want, what was it? If I got it in my notes, what is it? Oh yeah. When they want to make MJF cool, they just ring the freaking bell, which is a callback to what he said to Karrion Kross back in NXT. But man, Adam Cole really got to the point. He didn't try to go back and forth with MJF. He just put him in his place. Adam Cole is like, what, is that the best you got? I'm pretty sure Britt can beat the hell out of you. I know you can't hold a relationship for the life of you. Like, Adam Cole went there. He's like, Max, you can't touch me. And then he kind of makes a dig at his MJF's physique. Like, hey, let's piss in a cup and let's see who's natural or not. Like, alluding to, hey, is MJF juicing? Again, this is all kayfabe. This isn't really saying it, okay? I don't want anybody to take my words. Oh, no, no. So, yeah, he's like, you're selfish, conceited, lazy, and you do the bare minimum to be a world champion. No one respects you. If you're a champ, you would fight me. And Adam Cole switches MJF's line around. He's like, you won't fight me because I'm better than you and you know it. It's like, ooh, that was good. So I'm looking forward to next week, Adam Cole versus MJF. What is MJF going to do? Because we know MJF is going to do the most grimiest thing to get out of the match or the situation. He's going to have the brass ring or what have you. Is there going to be some interaction between him and Britt Baker? Is this going to kind of, like, now that I'm thinking about it, is this going to involve the Outcast somewhat aligning with MJF? And is that going to lead to Chris Jericho aligning himself with MJF? Or how is this going to play out? And those are cool things to think about going into this match. Like, man, there's so many things that can happen in this match. Like, man, I'm really interested to see how this plays out. Which, again, no matter what wrestling company, when you have those scenarios, like, man, there's so many things that can happen. It makes it so much fun to watch. So I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, Adam Cole, MJF, that is the feud right now for going forward in AEW for the AEW World Championship. And I like this feud with MJF. Feuding with Adam Cole. Adam Cole, 1, he can wrestle. 2, he can talk. He's got the look. He's got the crowd behind him. He's got the boom. It was funny when MJF cut off when Adam Cole waits for the crowd to go boom. He cut him off and everything. So I like this. This is a really good program. Honestly, I got to say, this is the first program for Adam Cole in AEW where he can sink his teeth into. And it's not, being dismissive when he first came in and he was aligned with the Elite and, the Undisputed Elite and the Young Bucks and Kenny. We really didn't see that because Kyle O'Reilly got hurt. Bobby Fish, he left and everything. So that dissipated prematurely. But I do feel this is the first time in AEW where Adam Cole has something he can sink his teeth into and really tell a story that, for me, this felt like Adam Cole in NXT in his, when he was red hot in NXT. So I don't know. This is cool. I'm looking forward to it. MJF and Adam Cole. The next thing, the video packages for Forbidden Door. I love these. I love this. They told a story, and I like the fact that commentary gave a little backstory and a little context to these video packages. The video package with Ospreay and Kenny Omega, their history, and them fighting for the IWGP United States Championship. Danielson and Okada, that video package, which I like that. It did come. Yeah, it came after the. Actually, no. The video package for Danielson and Okada led into the Blackpool Combat Club fighting Chaos, which, of course, people, when they saw this, I seen online, oh, why are they fighting Rocky Romero and the Best Friends and everything? And, what's Chaos? Chaos is the faction that Kazuchika Okada is a part of. So they're already planting the seeds of the Blackpool Combat Club, taking a dig at Okada's faction. They beat him. Danielson, he was mocking it on commentary. So it's planting the seeds of eventually Okada showing up on AEW Dynamite, which that's going to be cool. Getting a confrontation of Okada and Bryan Danielson, Chaos, and the Blackpool Combat Club, which is so cool. And, the video packages had elements of what we already saw at New Japan Dominion a little bit. And for me, I love that cross promotion. It just reminds me of something that you would see in a Final Fantasy game, a Street Fighter game, Mortal Kombat game, kind of like an old school N64 game for No Mercy, NWO World Tour, Revenge. Just that storytelling in the video package that just hypes up this match where oh man, I love that stuff. I love these video packages. It was the only two for now, but man, I loved it. I'm looking forward to Danielson and Okada and Omega and Ospreay. That's dope. And another thing I like about these video packages is that we got to remember Omega and Danielson were not competing in last year's Forbidden Door pay-per-view. Of course, Omega was recuperating from injury. Danielson was injured. So it's pretty cool that the two guys that weren't a part of last year's are the first two matches that are announced for this year's Forbidden Door. So that was really cool. Next thing, of course, the AEW Collision main event, FTR and CM Punk versus Jay White, Juice Robinson, and interesting, Samoa Joe. This is interesting. Again, this ties into the Adam Cole MJF thing, and somewhat the what I mentioned earlier, as far as there's so many things and scenarios that can happen. For me, I'm watching them unveil this, and I'm looking at the card, and I'm like, okay, it kind of feels like CM Punk is going to turn heel. And I've tweeted this out numerous times. And if you guys remember, go back and watch the September 3rd, 2012 episode of WWE Monday Night Raw when CM Punk turned heel in Chicago and joined forces with Paul Heyman. It feels like something like that, or some element of that, might be a callback at this episode of AEW Collision. Of course, this ties into the main event, Ricky Starks and Jay White. Ricky Starks tried to do the Shamboa, hit the referee. All of a sudden, the Gun Club, yes, Billy Gunn's kids, Austin and Colton Gunn, come out. They attack Ricky Starks. They help Jay White win. Jay White and Juice Robinson, they're celebrating. So how does that tie into the main event of AEW Collision? The Gun Club lost their titles to FTR. So it's kind of like they're playing, they're aligned, what's the saying? Your enemy is my enemy, that whole thing. There hasn't been anything as far as Jay White and Juice Robinson alluding to Gun Club joining Bullet Club. Just want to clarify, the time of this recording is an hour and 30 minutes after Dynamite, so maybe there's something on social media that's been posted at the time of this recording. So comment below what you guys think. Are the Gun Club joining Bullet Club? Is Samoa Joe joining Bullet Club? And also, I came across something on Twitter that made me really think no, but maybe. And it was this. What if we get CM Punk turn on FTR, and we get Jay White and Juice Robinson turn on Samoa Joe, and CM Punk is a part of Bullet Club Gold? I mean, that's something to think about. It does sound a little far-fetched, but considering that CM Punk has turned heel in Chicago back in 2012 when he joined Paul Heyman, back in 2012. So, something to think about, man. Something to really think about. Where is this CM Punk FTR thing going to go? There's so many scenarios to this main event on AEW Collision. And, when you think, of course, we've seen video and, the graphics, people have noticed that, CM Punk has the haircut that he had when he turned heel in WWE back in 2012. So it's okay, he's turning heel. Is FTR turning heel? Is this leading towards an FTR CM Punk versus, the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega at All In? Is this going to lead to CM Punk and Kenny Omega at All Out in Chicago? Where is this going to go? Of course, you had Ricky Starks or let me phrase that, Jay White and Juice Robinson, use the Gun Club to attack Ricky Starks. Like, how is this going to play out? But man, when I read that tweet about, man, what if CM Punk turns on FTR and Jay White and Juice Robinson turn on Samoa Joe on the debut episode of AEW Collision? I'm like, ooh, that's good, but there's a lot of things that have to happen for that to occur. And I don't know, maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't happen, but I'm really intrigued with this main event, and especially what transpired in the main event. Like, how is that going to tie into the main event? And, it's kind of alluded to tonight, like, oh, maybe there's going to be a new member to Bullet Club. There have been reports, I believe Fightful Select reported that there could be members of Bullet Club being added soon. Let me phrase that, Bullet Club Gold added soon. So are the Gun Club, a part of Bullet Club Gold? Is CM Punk going to join Bullet Club Gold? There's a lot of questions. So these are fun questions to have in professional wrestling. We see this in every promotion. When you have promotions that have these fun questions, we see it in WWE with, the bloodline. Where's this going to go? Who's going to turn? We've had those questions with the bloodline since, I think, Survivor Series. So it's, when you have that in professional wrestling, man, it's fun for the fans. And I'm looking forward to see how this transpires. I am going to be in attendance, so I am looking forward to it. So yeah, let's see what happened. And finally, one question I have, and I mentioned this earlier when I started this review, where is AEW going with Ricky Starks and Swerve Strickland? Swerve Strickland, I know he's got the embassy, and he had his match with Orange Cassidy. He lost the match against the AEW International Championship. I do feel he's more than likely going to get that title really soon. With Ricky Starks, I'm really interested, and I'm not concerned because, it's not like, oh my God, they're burying. Like, no, that's not burying. It's just like, okay, where is he going to go? He had that hot momentum after Full Gear going into Winter is Coming against MJF, and it just feels like he's been at a standstill, similar to Wardlow, Powerhouse Hobbs. I'm trying to think of a few other wrestlers that had that momentum and just stayed. Trying to think of anybody else. I can't think of anybody else, but where's AEW gonna go with Swerve Strickland, Ricky Starks? Is Swerve Strickland going to lose another match or several other matches before he gets the title? I don't know. But again, I want to preface and keep this in context that we are, in the midst of AEW building towards AEW Collision and Forbidden Door. So there could be, okay, we're going to build Collision, Forbidden Door, and then after Forbidden Door, then it's okay, we got All In and All Out. So I think that's when we're going to get more clarity for a lot of wrestlers in AEW. And then also we got to keep in mind, they still haven't addressed and defined what the transfer portal is. That's been reported, so we still don't know that. So there could be a lot of things that transpire after Forbidden Door that's like, okay, now it makes sense. So right now, I do think that it could be, kind of like small breadcrumbs to something that's bigger after Forbidden Door. So I don't mind that, but again, it's just one of those questions. I know I'm not the only one that's been asking it. Like, man, where's AEW going with Ricky Starks, Swerve Strickland? You could throw in Powerhouse Hobbs, Wardlow, Wardlow as TNT champion. It just feels like it doesn't have that momentum, that grittiness, that intrigue, that excitement. It just feels like, okay, he has the title, but it's just like, there's just, like, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe Miro goes after the TNT title. And when Miro was TNT champion, I believe that was the last great TNT champion that you had, like, you wanted to see, okay, where's this going? Where's this going? And of course, it was ended by Sammy Guevara. So I don't know. We'll see where it goes. But yeah, these are the things that stood out to me for AEW Dynamite. You know, Adam Cole confronting MJF, the video packages for Forbidden Door, the AEW Collision main events, and of course, you know, where they're going with Ricky Starks and Swerve Strickland. So, again, overall, this was a fun show. A lot of great action. Chris Statlander, she looked amazing. Orange Cassidy, Swerve Strickland, that was a man. That was a great match. I just kind of wish that Swerve Strickland would have won. You know, the Blackpool Combat Club and Chaos, that was just a great, man, that was a fight. What was the other one? The Surprise of the Night, Jack Perry and Hook versus Preston Vance and Dralistico in a Tornado Tag match. That was a very physical match. Preston Vance, he was busted open. That was a physical match. Jack Perry and Hook, they won. So, see where they go with Jack Perry and Hook and that whole thing. I guess they're bringing that back together. So, again, like I always do, I always bring some form of context. I do think that, again, we're still in the baby stages and the breadcrumb stage of what AEW is defining as far as what Collision's going to be in Dynamite. You have Forbidden Door, so it's kind of like they're giving breadcrumbs as we get to AEW Collision, and then Forbidden Door, and then after Forbidden Door, it's like, all right, there we go. So that's where I think it could be headed. But man, I enjoyed this episode of AEW Dynamite. I've enjoyed Raw and SmackDown. Impact Wrestling's doing some cool things. MLW has been doing some fun things with AAA. Of course, New Japan with the G1 that they announced with Titan from CMLL, Eddie Kingston, Kaito Kizumura from Noah. Like, that looks good. Like, man, there's so much fun stuff happening in professional wrestling right now that, you know, you probably heard several wrestling podcasters say, man, this summer, wrestling fans are getting Christmas early. And I do believe that we are getting Christmas early. And again, I'm looking forward to Dynamite next week, Rampage next week, or this Friday. You got a 4-way between Britt Baker, Sky Blue, Mercedes Martinez, and Nyla Rose. Winner will face Toni Storm next week. And next week they're going to be in Washington, D.C., where the very first Dynamite was aired. So you have that planned next week. But man, this was a fun show. A lot better than several Dynamites leading up to Double or Nothing. This was fun. Again, tonight they practically focus on MJF and Adam Cole, the Forbidden Door vignettes, and the Collision main event. Everything else was just kind of like nothing progressed, but it was just like, okay, we're still here. We're still here. So that's what the basic story progression that transpired on AEW Dynamite for June 7th. So, again, that is my review. Follow House of Wrestling on all social media platforms. Follow me, Dedrian180, on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Man, this is fun. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to AEW Collision, Rampage. I'm looking forward to SmackDown. I'm looking forward to all that because there's a lot of good wrestling going on. Like I always say, let's have fun, wrestling fans. And with that, folks,